Hotels are something that we are used to seeing on the ground, but the perspective of hotels is different from graphic artist and video producer Hashim Al-Ghaili, who created a video of a flying hotel. To be specific, the video puts on display a concept of an AI-piloted aircraft that can keep flying for years without landing. Instead, conventional airliners would ferry passengers to and from the sky cruise, and even all running repairs would be carried out in flight. Let's have a look at Flying Hotel That Never Lands. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. With the climate crisis truly underway alongside uncertain social conditions and political turmoil, one continues to see depictions of future development that may give hope for an improved tomorrow. However, there are always some depictions that teeter the fine line between welcomed improvement and puzzling dystopia. One such depiction is the nuclear-powered aircraft that stays in the clouds for years. Science communicator and video producer Hashim Al-Ghaili has caused quite an online stir with his video spectacularly showcasing a new sky cruise concept first created by Tony Holmston. A flying hotel that can carry more than 5,000 passengers in the epitome of luxury. The futuristic hotel is designed to be the ultimate travel experience. Its elegant design combines the features of a commercial airliner with a luxury cruise ship. The Sky Cruise has a giant lobby with a 360-degree view, accessed via an elevator. And the main platform is perfect for entertainment activities. It has shopping centers, gyms, swimming pools, restaurants, bars, playgrounds, theaters, and cinemas. The Sky Cruise would feature exterior elevators to shuttle guests from one location to another, provided people would be on board for the idea. While it's a fun idea, many spectators called out the concept design after identifying some of its potential flaws, with one person commenting on YouTube, "If physics and aerodynamics didn't exist, then this vessel might actually be able to take off." While another added, "The designers forgot this thing is supposed to fly, ergo, they need to adhere to the principles of aerodynamics." One person said, "I would much rather prefer a nuclear airship, as the space available will be far greater. But nevertheless, the creativity behind the idea is wonderful, and I hope the planners get somewhere someday." Another Twitter user asked, "Did somebody clone Howard Hughes?" referencing the notorious Playboy aviator and inventor who built the world's biggest plane, and only flew it once before vanishing from the public life altogether. There is plenty of space to organize events and business meetings. There are also areas where guests can relax and watch the stars of the Northern Lights. No pilot, no need to refuel, and a chance for lucky voyagers to see the Northern Lights up close every single night. As one Facebook commenter wrote, "What could possibly go wrong?" Passengers and crew can be brought up on separate aircraft to the permanently in-flight vessel, which appears to have no fewer than 20 jet engines. Al-Ghaili has said the plane represents the future of transport and would fly 24 hours a day. One nervous passenger said, "Great idea putting a nuclear reactor in something that could malfunction and fall out of the sky." Before we move on, support us by hitting subscribe and the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. Now, let's get back to our topic. According to the scientists, no turbulence would be felt in the aircraft, as the navigation systems could be artificial intelligence to predict turbulence minutes before it happens. If it was detected, an anti-turbulence technology system could prevent it from being felt. In case of a medical emergency, the plane would be equipped with the latest technology, and both supplies and guests would arrive at the giant hotel via commercial electric planes departing from different airports around the world. Some people were concerned about the size of the cruiser, as one YouTube user pointed out how big the runway would need to be for such a monster-sized aircraft, and another added, "That thing is massive. It's at least 20 times larger than any commercial airplane. I can't even imagine the amount of maintenance something this massive would need. That's to say nothing of the potential danger of a nuclear-powered aircraft, well, crashing." Powered by 20 nuclear propulsion engines, the fully autonomous Sky Cruise doesn't need to land on Earth and will remain airborne forever. A small nuclear reactor would use highly controlled nuclear fusion to give the air hotel unlimited power, meaning that the hotel would never run out of fuel, and could hover in the air without ever touching the ground. So how would reach the hotel? By flying to it, of course, much like how a large sea cruise works, you'd have to take smaller flights to reach the hotel to board it. But is a giant, never-landing air hotel feasible? The makers are optimistic that it is the future of travel, with a lot of people dubbing it the new Titanic, which could mean both a bad and good thing, depending on whether they're talking about the grand ship or its disastrous end. The Sky Cruise presents both a bright and dark vision of the future. It certainly would bring about a revolution in the travel and hospitality industry, but it also seems like it would be accessible to only the rich and the affluent. There is also the environmental impact of such an energy-guzzling project to consider, along with the disastrous implications of the cruise ever crashing down to take into account. Answering a Facebook comment asking how many pilots would be needed to fly the monolith with wings, the designer simply said, "All this technology and you still want pilots? I believe it will be fully autonomous." Cynics quickly pointed out that, though beautifully animated, Al-Ghali's design makes almost no sense. First, nuclear fusion doesn't yet exist. Whether or not the technology could ever be placed on a jet like this one and taken into the sky is a whole other question. Second, no runway ever conceived would get close to housing this beast of technological ambition. An entire custom airport for one takeoff would probably be necessary. That begs the question of cost, which Mr. Al-Ghali boldly appears not to have considered at all. One person pointed out that were it to crash, 5,000 people might be killed. That would be by far the biggest transport disaster in history, and probably prompt an entire series of air crash investigations rather than a single episode. Another Facebook commenter took the idea a little too seriously, writing, "How about imagining eliminating world hunger instead of other rich people's luxury toys?" Yet not all were naysayers. One Twitter user seemed optimistic, writing, "Hilarious. It's like someone got in a time machine, traveled to 2070, and found a retrofuturism video based on our era, as opposed to the 1950s or 1800s, depicting what people from our era thought our future would look like." Still, one skeptic point definitely rings a bell. They wrote, "I bet I still end up next to someone else's screaming 3-year-old for the entire trip." While someone else commented, "I'm sure I would be able to afford a ticket for the lowest deck, with no leg space and no access to the lounge." Another user wrote, "Those exposed elevators are a big nope for me. Uneven drag would also like a word on those." The engines look suspiciously like jet engines. Fusion reaction is used as a magic future energy source, and your animation never bothered to raise the landing gear? While many have their hopes set high for the giant hotel, the Sky Cruise is still far in the future. But is it even possible? Here are a few big questions that need to be answered. How would it ever be able to take off? It wouldn't. Modern jumbo jets require many thousands of feet of runway to accelerate to 150 miles per hour or so before they can take off. How many hundreds of miles would it take for this behemoth to get airborne? There's not enough concrete in the world. How much would it cost to build it? Let's see. How much does it cost to build a small nuclear power plant? Around $5 billion, and that's just for the juice. The rest of it? It's all guesswork because the Sky Cruise is made up of stuff to begin with, but $1 trillion all in, including the support and maintenance and training and development costs, seems a low estimate. How much does it weigh? The biggest plane ever, the Antonov An-225, weighed a max takeoff weight of around 1.5 million pounds. That's a lot. To get there, it's powered by 6 50,000-pound thrust engines. Those are big engines. The Sky Cruise is way bigger than the An-225, and it would weigh at least 100 times more than that, about the size of a small cruise ship or mid-sized 10-story brick apartment building. We're talking 100 million pounds. In short, the Sky Cruise, while it's presented as a product of a project, isn't either. It's a far-fetched notion that stands less than a 0% chance of ever having Part 1 produced. So, that's it. Please like, share, and comment with your thoughts below if you like this video. Remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we'll be back soon with another video.